technology is always a solution in the crisis. So technology will be really handy. There are multiple areas in which this technology would be adopted. One area is in the conduction of admission tests. The other area where technology definitely will play a most important role is in the learning space.
For online education to really become mainstream and enroll millions of students rather than hundreds of thousands of students, we need to have online degrees that are accredited by the various agencies.
My message to all the students and the higher education stakeholders is we need to double our efforts in this time in order to sustain and keep our economy afloat.
In India, we have to look at technology and education 4.0 as actually providing education to the uneducated, people who are not getting quality education.
Education 3.0 was nothing but technology driven. This is now going to be a permanent feature and is now going to figure in all the teaching learning activities of times to come.
Hello and welcome to the College Dunia Connect question 3 and chapter 40. The webinar is brought to you by College Dunia, and I sincerely thank all panelists who carved out some time from their busy schedule and present here to give some valuable wisdom of faith, as well as to enlighten all the audience present here. I warmly welcome all the audience who are eager to listen to the great words by our honorable guests, and I promise you that you are going to enjoy this session a lot and gain some knowledge from the team's webinar. Not taking much time, let me introduce myself. I am Atreya, working as a young leader, and I am going to be moderator for this session. Let me introduce you to the College Dunia first, and I have a small presentation to share with you all. I hope you see my slides. So, College Dunia is India's largest student review platform. It's a brief introduction that I'm going to give about College Dunia. We do standing activities and admission services to the colleges. Basically, we provide some of the services like updated microsites for each and every college, banners and listing services, engagement activities like webinars, WhatsApp sessions, and lead generation, as well as conversion into admission. Now, every college on the College Dunia platform will be having a microsite. There are two types of microsites that we provide. One is non-partner college website microsite, as well as partner college microsite. The only difference between these two is competitors' ads would be displayed on non-partner colleges, and there would be no such kind of ads would be displayed on the partner colleges to avoid competition and poaching of the students. And there are other services that we provide are banners to redirect the traffic to your websites or to your landing pages. And these banners can be placed in multiple locations on our microsites as well as on our home pages, etc. And listings bring you at the top of the search list. Suppose, for example, if you're searching for XYZ college in the particular geography, if you are listed as our client, your college will be shown on the top of the list, which definitely brings more eyeballs to your microsite, so that the visibility of the college would be increased. And this is completely organic way. We are not manipulating anything. This is completely organic searches which we bring from the original Google searches or Bing searches. And there are many engagement activities like webinars. We conduct WhatsApp sessions. We take thoughts and education interviews like written interviews which are published on our microsites, as well as video interviews which are published on our microsites as well as on our YouTube channels. And we are also conducting engagement activities like Alumni and Student Connect, Campus Connect, campus video shoots, photo shoots, etc. We are also trying to bring organically the traffic to the microsites through various articles on the content of the college as well as the philosophy of the college. We also do various social media services for Instagram campaigns, Facebook campaigns, as well as the LinkedIn campaign. At the same time, we also send emailers and SMS to touch points to the students, where we constantly remind them of a particular college to take admission. It might be through emails, where we call them, where we send email to saying that the admissions are open or admissions are closing, etc. Similarly, we send out SMSs like, please get into apply now, the applications are open, or admissions are getting closed, etc., which are useful as touch points to students, where once we remind them that there is a college present here, there is high chance of conversion, that that particular student will be converted into an admission. And this is the lead journey that we bring out through our college. First, we Colleginia website. First, we bring the traffic to Colleginia website. Then we filter that as the leads, and we capture those leads, and we deliver those leads to various our partner colleges. At the same time, we nurture those leads, saying that please try to consider this college through various mediums like SMSs and emails that I have shown a couple of minutes back. And we also do some value-added content like webinar sessions, counseling sessions, or WhatsApp sessions, or like content generation through organic methods, etc. And we are also producing high-quality leads, where the intent of the student to join in a particular college is very high. At the same time, conversion rates also very high when compared with some of the competitors. So now coming to agenda of today. Our main agenda for discussion today is that how can education institutions adapt to ever-changing job market and create more and more opportunities which are valuable to the students. Like post COVID-19, there is a different environment and there is a different world out here, so that we need to understand first what is happening in the market, so that we can plan accordingly to make our students much fit to that particular environment out there. So the agenda of today's session is what are the understanding the changes in the job market, what are the challenges and way forward to address these challenges. At the same time, what is the role of education institutions in preparing students for this job market. Online courses for skill development of students, how it is useful, how it is not useful, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and what are the various skill sets that are into demand after this pandemic has arisen. So before pandemic, there are multiple disruptive technologies came into picture, and they are changing trade links. There are human obsolescence, where robots and artificial intelligence is replacing human knowledge and human workforce. But after pandemic, is there any change, or it is the same thing that is going to continue? And what is the disadvantage or advantage that is being brought down by lockdowns and restrictions which were placed by various governments? And what are the tools enabling remote work, and how these complete setup is changing the job market structure as well as the requirements of the job market, that we are going to see in the next 40 minutes. And what are the changes in the mindset of employee as well as employer while hiring a particular candidate to a particular position? What are your thoughts on this? We are going to look into this very detailed. And what is the trends in the new job market for a post-pandemic? Companies are not coming to candidate, or candidate is not going to company, and every process is going to be virtual, and everything is completed completely from end to end is going to take place on online. And what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the best practices that we can follow in the future, we are going to discuss. And the situation could be global phenomena. Of course, this is opportunity where the workforce is not only situated or concentrated in particular region. This could be attributed to whole world, and we can bring out best employees or best minds from the various parts of the world. But how this could be happen? How could this be achieved? Through our methodologies and teaching pedagogies that we follow. So this is some of the graphs that we brought out from various countries. We can say competitors of India in economy as well as in social structures, where India is completely moving towards the IT and ITS sectors, and it is most of the people are abandoning agriculture. So this is giving new opportunities as well as new challenges in the economic sector of India. So we are going to discuss how this is going to impact the future generations as well as future students of this country. So what should educational institutions do to adapt and make sure their students will be employable? This is the main point of discussion today. Of course, in the context of COVID-19, in the context of the lockdowns, in the context of online education, I say that a student is a raw material and college is a factory. So how this raw material is to be converted into an employable source or employable product, so that the company could use this raw material to fullest, and at the same time the company can grow as well as the student can grow. So to discuss this, we have great 5 panelists over here. Let me introduce each one panelist with a brief background of theirs and what are the achievements of them. The first panelist is Dr. C.D. Rajaganapati. He is currently the director of KSRM Engineering College, which is present in Kadapa. He worked in various education leadership positions like Perry Institute of Technology, Chennai, Head of Corporate Relations, Vidya Vikas College of Engineering and Technology, Tiruchengood, Training and Placement Officer. He's also worked as software engineer. He is having technical experience also in the Keen India Private Limited, Bangalore. He has won some of the awards and recognitions like Best Training and Placement Officer and Best Training Placement Officer for the year 2017 and 2018 from the Republic Day Achievers Award in the individual category. And Consistent Achiever received Consistent Achiever Award for achieving 100% target for 5 consecutive academic years from 2014 to 18. I welcome you to this platform, sir. We are really happy to have you on this platform. And the second panelist.
Thank you for today.
The second panelist for today is Dr. Ashok Kumar. He is the director of RGMSET. He is having the 25 years of teaching experience in the same institution, and he has published 85 research articles in various international and national journals. 5 candidates have completed their research work under his supervision, and 7 research scholars are pursuing their research. More than 1,000 students have been placed in reputed MNCs or industries in the academic year under his leadership. Once again, sir, I warmly welcome you to this platform. We are eagerly waiting to hear your words. Thank you, sir. So the next panelist is Dr. D. Ashalata, Principal of Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College. Dr. D. Ashalata hails from Sorry for the mistake. Dr. Ashalata hails from Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. She completed her BA, MA and PhD degrees in English language and literature. With a passion for education, she completed B.Ed and M.Ed along with a post-graduation diploma in guidance and counseling. She has recently submitted the thesis of her second PhD in the area of education. She has recently guided or examined several research projects of MED students, MPhil students and doctoral research of students. She has won Best Educationist Award and a Certificate of Education Excellence from Institute of Education and Management, Delhi in June 2017. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being present here, and we are eagerly waiting to hear your thoughts on the current ongoing topic.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next guest of us today is Professor Dr. Eriki Anandakumar, Principal of Priyadarshini Institute of Technology. Anandakumar is currently working as a Principal of Priyadarshini Institute of Technology, Tirupati. A versatile personality, varied experienced professional. Prior to work as a professor, Dr. Anandakumar worked as a Director of EISC, Entrepreneur Innovation and Startup Center in Global College of Engineering and Technology, Kadapa. Also, he worked as Training and Placement Officer affiliated to JNTU, Anantapur. His abroad experience of Research and Development Associate Professor in Mechanical Engineering in Ethiopian University. He was a faculty of Department of Mechanical Engineering in Oman University. Also, he has published 30 plus journals and conference papers since 2010. He is passionate about creating a hyper-connected world which includes the countries like Malaysia, Oman and Ethiopia. Wonderful, sir. Thank you for being present here, and we are eagerly waiting to hear your words also. Thank you, sir. Next, our panelist and our guest, Dr. K. Shanta, Principal of St. Joseph's Degree College. She has 30 plus years of teaching experience, both including undergraduate courses as well as post-graduation courses. She has acted as HOD for the Department of Chemistry for more than 20 years and 8 plus years of administrative experience as principal and the resource person for government organized workshop called Capacity Building in Chemistry, meant for government high school teachers in science for 2 consecutive years. Published 10 papers in various national and international journals, presented more than 20 papers in various national and international seminars and symposia. She is also lifetime member in Indian Association of Chemistry for Teachers. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here for today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
There are tens of people are waiting to hear you all out. So I'm not going to take any much time. The floor is open to yours. First, let me go to Dr. C.D. Rajaganapati. Sir, what are your opening remarks about the topic today?
Good evening to everyone present here. So, in my purview, in recent years, the purpose of coming to the schools and colleges is changing rapidly. As you all know about this home school concept, most of the rich peoples are opt out for this process of this process of homeschool concepts, meaning that they need a knowledge transfer, not a standard syllabus approved by some universities or by our government. Like ATM machines, parents are also expecting their children's to admitted in their well-reputed schools or colleges, and once they came out from the college, they are expecting their ward to come out with some offer letters not less than 25,000 or 35,000 per month. In 1 or 2 years, they will get back their money which they invested as a fees in the college or school from his or her children's. So the fancy word which now we are using in our college for getting the admissions or for some other reason is dream offers, super dream offers, 100% placements, and so on. Actually, the colleges are meant for knowledge transformation and importing the good skills to the students. The byproduct is the placements, but nowadays the scenario is completely changed. We are all in a hurry to make our product polished, and we are selling it for the high cost. You all know about this. Nobody is bothering about the knowledge transfer, whether they are getting it from the college sufficient or not. But gone all the days. Now, for any college to sustain this very competitive world, they have to mainly focus on. They have to focus on both ways. One is academics, and another one is placements. In academics, we want to focus more on research and development activities. While coming to the placements, they have to focus on internships, online certifications, good companies, and more offers in numbers. I always want my student should be knowledgeable first, and then through that knowledge, he or she has to get placed in a good company. So for that, I always start this campus recruitment training from the first year. So we will always start the training from the second semester, and we will filter them in different levels to identify them, and I want to identify them product-based or service-based companies, or core companies, or BPO or KPO or whatever it may be. So second and third year, they have to attend any one at least internship, and they should have some 2 or 3 or maximum 4 online certifications also. So we have a number of options for doing all those things, like Internshala, Opportunities Corner, Scholarship Corner. Everything is online now available, so they can go and do their internships there also. So I always insist my students to get at least 3-4 certificate online courses like Udemy, Coursera, Upgrade, and lot of options are there. You all know well about this. Today is a very internet-based centric world we are living in. So in my purview, Mata Pita Guru Devam is the oldest statement. Now Mata Pita Google Devam is the present scenario which our students and we are following here. So everything is available in online. So we have to go, sky is the limit. They have to do one by one all online courses, and they have to showcase it to the HR people who are coming for the job market. So here we are having one IT industry also in Chennai, but our college is in Kadapa. So what we are doing now as a HR, when I went for any campus interview to other colleges in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra, we are expecting students to be day one deployable. We are not checking as employable. So it is gone all the days. Now we don't have a time and money to invest for their training. So what we are expecting from the students is like a plug and play. They have to be ready to work in my project from the day one, not from after the training of 1 month or 2 months. Anyway, even if we are ready to give the training for 1 or 2 months, the attitude of the students is changed nowadays. So they have used they are used as for training, like a training center, and they went off even for 500 rupees or 1000 rupees if somebody is giving higher than that what I'm offering a salary. So they are going for that salary only. So it's the attitude of the students, and they are forced to do, and some parents is also doing them. So in my purview, as a starting note, I expect the students should be completely knowledgeable. Then they have to be get placed in a good company. So instead of a crash course or 1 month course they are doing and they are getting placed. Due to this pandemic, so last year, 2 lakh plus opportunities are available in the job market. In top-notch companies alone, I'm telling you. So now, for in this job market, in this pandemic scenario, maybe for the HRs or to the company people like me. So it's a very tough season for us to recruit the right student, as because we are doing all the things in the online only. We are not seeing the students. So understanding the students' attitude and checking the gestures, everything through online is very difficult, which we are facing. So for that, I'm training my student to be there in a company for a longer period. Now, for even for small salary hikes, they are moving in 1 or 2 years. Gone all the days that we are waiting for the students to be at least 3 to 5 years in a company, so that he will get a good knowledge about the company and in the technology what he is learned for also. So that's all for my initial note. So the floor is open for others also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's a wonderful idea that you have given. Let me go over to Dr. Ashok. Sir, what are your predictions that are going to be for coming maybe next 5 years? How the job market is going to be shaped out when we compare it to the last 5 years? So what are your predictions? What is the horoscope that you predict for the next 5 years job market?
Thank you very much. Last 5 years also, definitely the job market is good. If you take IT industry, many companies are hiring regularly the students in almost all top organizations, and they have been taking hundreds of candidates every year. For example, if you take the academic year 21 and 22, the markets are now it is open. If you take an example, Infosys, Wipro, CTS, and TCS, Accenture. These 5 companies alone, they have 1.5 lakhs job openings for this academic year alone. So, jobs are readily available, but the only problem is with the student. Whether the student is ready to that particular market or not, that is the question. So, if he want to saleable in a market, definitely he needs some skills. Definitely he has to learn certain skills. Without that particular skills, no IT company will come forward to hire that particular guy, whether he may be a boy or a girl. Now, as far as the 2021 and 22 is concerned, already especially in my college, already I have started number of drives. Accenture has completed, CTS has completed, Infosys it is going on, TCS today that particular one is going on. For 1,000 candidate, that is with the 900 intake, only 600 students may be eligible for that particular one. But in the last academic year, in my college, that is RGM, more than 1,000 placement offers have received from various IT companies. So many candidates have secured 5 offers also. So now it is a open market and pool campuses are going on. All the companies are have required huge number of candidates. Because of that reason, they are not coming to the college campuses. Very few top colleges only they are going for that one, and the remaining all are the only pool campuses. With that pool campuses only, they are recruiting the huge number of candidates. But if any student wants to recruit, that means wants to select in one particular company, means as a placement officer or as a placement dean or the director, definitely we need to have certain skills on the student. Keeping all those things in your mind, we are starting the training programs in the first year level itself. In the first year itself, we are starting the aptitude skills and at the same time the verbal skills. With that particular skills, definitely they will learn certain things, and at the same time each and every day they may write their examination, questionnaire, all these things. And the very unfortunate thing nowadays is almost 90% of the students are studying in English medium, but they are not in a position to speak at least a minute. I don't know where is the problem. I think this is the base is not good for them. And even in the engineering college, it is very, very difficult. Again, we have to start with the alphabets. We don't have a time to teach all those things. Again, we have how to start that particular things, and that is the from basics means we have only 4 years of time. And during this particular period, they have to complete 100 technical subjects, and at the same time, the laboratories, everything, project, everything. In addition to this particular one, even our today's topic itself, how can educational institutions adapt to ever-changing job market and create? Job market is readily available. That is not at all a problem. I have been telling the same thing. Lakhs of openings are there. But being a placement officer, definitely it is our job to create the skills among our own students. So technically, our students are lagging. So we have to correct that particular one, and we have to teach the students in a systematic manner. And in addition to the technical skills, the language is very, very important. So language skills are also very, very important. We have to give importance to this particular one. And being autonomous colleges, certain institutions are doing good compared to the affiliated colleges. Why means if anything is there in the industrialization, that means industry is changing means immediately in the next academic year itself, they are incorporating that particular changes in the curriculum itself. That is the flexibility which has the autonomous engineering colleges. So with this particular flexibility, definitely we are adding all those industrial things in the curriculum itself, and we are trying our level best to complete that particular skills while studying this engineering course itself. We are adding all those things in the curriculum itself. So in many colleges, what is happening is this additional courses is very, very burden for them. So after completion of the engineering, what they are doing, many candidates are going to either to Hyderabad or Chennai, Bangalore, like that, and they are spending some lakhs of amount, and 3 to 6 months they are spending at that particular cities, and again they are learning all those things. But instead of doing that particular one, if you teach all those things and if you adopt all those subjects in our curriculum itself, then before final year itself they will learn all those things. And definitely in the third year itself, many companies are coming. In 3 to hundreds of candidates are selecting in my college in 3 to level itself. So if you want to reach that particular level means we have to take heart from the first year. This is my opinion about the job market, and at the same time how to create means creation is not in our hand. Definitely jobs are, thousands of jobs are there, but it is our turn to utilize that particular one. So thank you very much.
Sir, every word that you have said in the last 5 minutes are absolutely true. And let me go on to Dr. K. Shanta. Ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Since you are principal of a degree college and you're dealing with the subjects of humanities, what are the changes that you have seen from the students of 2000, let's say pre-2019, post-2019? Do you see any paradigm shift in their thought process or the people taking the humanities courses? With what mindset they're coming into institute? Are they going for the knowledge? Are they going for placement? Are they going like they're joining just for time pass? What is the paradigm of the student coming into an institute?
Thank you very much, sir. It's a very interesting question. I would like to explain the scenario in Andhra Pradesh, and for that matter, for the 2 Telugu states that is prevailing over here. And I'm sorry if I am crossing the limits. In every family, in every middle class family in these 2 Telugu states, what's happening is an idea to is being rubbed on the children to either become an engineer or a doctor. Right from their nursery, their minds are fed up with an idea that they should go get a placement in IIT or they should be placed in any medical college. Apart from these two, nobody is concentrating or educating the students or their children that there are so many other avenues where their children can shine and where actually society is in need of. Like, for example, if I take the affiliated colleges, all the affiliated colleges produce graduates who will be trained for the going for the teacher training and be working as teachers in primary institutions or secondary high schools and even colleges. So if teachers are not available for the students, proper knowledgeable teachers are not available in the institutions, then the society will be leading into a chaos. There is absolute chaos in the society if the teacher or the teaching fraternity is not knowledgeable and trained persons are available for the young minds to direct them. So this scenario has to change in the Telugu states. Then only we can see a better society. And now coming to your question, we get the students into degree colleges, be it in humanities, be it in any other science stream or math stream or commerce stream. We get students who are dejected and who have made n number of attempts to join in a professional college, and then they are in a depressive mood. Such people come and join our institutions. Most of the cream of the society, creamy layer of the students choose the professional colleges and they enter the professional colleges. And who are left over in the society? Those who are not up to that standard, or those who have made a number of attempts but they have failed to get a desired seat in a desired institution. Those people, they come and join the affiliated colleges. Now, I would like to quote one student whom I have faced in my career. That boy has taken 3 long terms and miserably failed to get a seat in medical field. And now, after entering into the affiliated college, undergraduate college, that boy finds it very difficult to put anything on paper in the form of sentence, because all these years he has been focusing to answer ABCD. He has that thinking capacity, but he is lacking in his expression, either verbal or written communications. So as Sir has already pointed out that even in engineering colleges, people are unable to express their views in one sentence, in a proper sentence. The same situation, even further worse condition, is found in affiliated colleges. I'm sorry to say this, because in most of the intermediate education, people are concentrating only on groups and languages are set aside. They are kept aside. Only 1 month or 1.5 months of time is given to them. As for example, if you take any degree college, we too get, for example, my college gets all the companies that Sir has mentioned just now, like Accenture, TCS, Wipro, Infosys. Added to that, we have companies like Indian Institute of Immunology. All those companies visit our colleges, and there I'm very proudly announce here that out of 500 students or 600 students who attempt the final year examinations, 400 of them are placed in different companies. So this is because of the great effort that is done by the team of lecturers that we have got in the degree college, wherein we take up the students with very low IQ and try our level best to improve their skills. Just now, Sir was mentioning that we have to imbibe certain skills in the students. So critical thinking skills, then the ability to face a particular situation, all such things ought to be given to the students right from the day they enter into the college, either in the form of extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities. Because we are an affiliated college, we don't have that freedom of changing the curriculum in the or any syllabus. We cannot change. So what all we can do is we can go for add-on courses or value-added courses or certificate courses and try to fill up the gap between the academics and the industry. And now we have a set of students who are not focused anywhere, who are not, I don't blame the students because they are not given a proper direction. So now our responsibility is multiplied many more times, and we take care of those students who have joined our institution, and we try to inculcate such an interest in them. As rightly pointed out by Ashok sir, that communication plays a vital role in the job interviews, and all these things we have to take care. And be it this year or last year or previous years, the situation remains the same until unless the mindset of the parents change in the society. We don't get creamy layer. So we'll have to work harder and harder and harder. And we are, our students are no way lessly placed when compared to the other professional college students. So I'm very glad that with very low IQ level students, we are able to compete with the professional colleges. So it is all in the students' mindset, how they mold or how they come into this situation, how they understand, how they focus. All that depends upon every individual. So our team effort will always be there to direct them towards either entrepreneur or towards placements. So right from the first year, we try to ask the students to join any club of their interest and improve their potentials, because they are not aware of their potential. So tapping the potential and then asking them, directing them to the right side of their choice is what is made in this affiliated colleges.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope one day the technical courses would be competing with humanities. I hope that day comes very soon. And let me go over to Dr. Ashalata, ma'am. Ma'am, since you have contributed a lot in the educational research, and India is definitely having a lot of young population, and of course most of them are going for technical education, but there are still a lot of people going to humanities courses, and humanities courses are also very important in nation building. So in this pandemic world, or in this pandemic situation where the practical classes are not possible, which are very much important for humanities courses, what do you suggest, how an education institute must gear up to train the people of the humanities or the people of going for education studies, etc.? Like, is there any change required? If the change is required, what kind of change from the institution side as well as from the student side?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I would like to take this question in a different way, because I'm very thankful to the earlier speakers who have given me an insight like how I can talk about this. So that was really very interesting listening to all the senior people in the business. See, in the 20th century, as you have rightly mentioned, in the 20th century, there was a lot of content management. So a lot of content management was happening. Learning was only learning content. Now, when it comes to the 21st century, it is not learning content. It is almost all learning tools, and then rewriting the content or recreating the content, whatever we have. The students have got absolute freedom to do whatever they want to do. With a diverse kind of an experience, I would like to share with all the very senior panelists here that, say for example, if you have a suburban area, the perspective may be completely different. And if it's an urban area, the perspective may be completely different. Say, for example, you have a city school, there is nothing much to worry. Once the child goes to the school has got a lot of activities of multitasking where the child is equally given a priority to learn. So the communication skills are taken off. They are into a lot of practices, lot of exams, and say for example, Pearson MePro or maybe Cambridge ESOL examinations or assessment centers are available, where they'll start taking the A1 test when they're quite young, maybe around third class or fourth class, and by the time they come to 10th standard, they finish off C2. No need for them to write the IELTS or anything else also to go abroad for any visa process. So that is one thing. And because they are in a city kind of a setup, most of them, they will have the third language options of foreign languages also. So they take them up and they learn the foreign languages, they're well versed, and they are into a lot of multitasking of reading or writing exercises, and they become quite active with a lot of multitasking activities or multifarious activities which might develop their skill set. But when it comes to the semi-urban or the rural setup, it is nothing like that. We don't have opportunities. Here we'll go for some kind of, as madam has rightly said, they go for what we call as a routine kind of activities which are not necessary in this present world. So there is nothing which is going to stop us, because like all of us have just now discussed, there's a huge demand and there's a huge necessity, and there are jobs available. So almost since the last 1 year, if you see, there's almost 7 to 10% of raise in the jobs itself. And very peculiarly, we have seen the work from home scenario where they want more work from home people, and especially women, because they go on cut down pay packages and give them a lot of jobs, and their job is done without giving any facilities for the people working from home as well. So that is actually, the companies are thinking better to work from home rather than come to the office. So that's a scenario. Everybody is happy about it. So everything is absolutely fine. But when it comes to the semi-urban or any other towns or rural things, I don't think. See, there is, sir, if I'm not diverging or going out of the topic, people are always into a lot of shopping modes and they go for the latest trends. Then why is it that we are talking that they are not interested in the latest trends in education? So it's only a mindset. So if we are ready to take up these kind of activities, as sir has rightly pointed out in the beginning also, yes, first year is the right time. Okay, say for example, they don't have any training at the school level, let them have the training in the first year. First, let us take up language training. You can go for certified language training, get them passed through some certified testing services which are already available, like CFR rated tests. And then afterwards, in the second and third year, we can give them maybe core level, certifications, as ma'am said, value added, or any other core level certifications, which makes their resume very strong. And now I think that is what we call as dynamics in their market standard, because they are going to be the end product. And if they have certifications, they have experience, some experiential learning, which makes them very confident and strong. With that confidence and all that, I think they are able to, take up the job market and do anything. As you rightly said, even though we have only 5 to 10% of people who do research or go to PhD level, the companies welcome people with research background for all sorts of R&D activities, or maybe in their companies, because assertiveness and creativity is the best thing which is looked out for wherever we go. So the companies are not saying that the PhD students are not required for any job. Yes, we have requirement, and the companies also can say. And one more thing as a start I would like to add is that most of us, we are preparing them for the IT years or maybe IT jobs, but we have a lot of jobs in other sectors like building or construction or designing, or maybe even sometimes it's so interesting to see that we want freelance content writers for the social media as well. In fact, some companies are checking the social media presence of a person before they are recruiting them. Absolutely, it is possible. Maybe 50-50 chances, but some companies are doing. When they are doing mobile recruiting, they're asking the candidate to download the company app, then feed all the details and do everything whatever possible on a mobile app before they recruit them. So it's completely different, like what is happening in the world and how people are understanding all these things. But I think that when the student is very confident, the student is taking up all the kinds of mental skill development or whatever competence that they have to develop, I think automatically they are ready for the jobs. The market is ready. For the student, we need to actually support them at the college level. Don't say no to anything. See, as a teacher, I would say that maybe sometimes as a teacher or as a trainer or as an administrator, I would have I would have seen some stops, or sometimes I would have had some problems. Then all of us very well versed here, if you are ready to say that I'm not going to say no to my students, see what best I can give them, I think they're going to really explore. They're ready to explore and they are going to do. And what here I would like to emphasize is that there should be more of integrated courses also in the colleges available for the students. See, when I was working as a principal or as a coordinator also, I even for commerce students, we had CS or CA or CMA integrated along with the commerce courses in the campus, so that they need not go anywhere outside. See, managing things and balancing out of the college is very difficult. So not only in commerce, in any kind of a thing, integrating few courses like what the new education policy says, it gives them lots and lots of support that they can manage this world. And one more bottom line statement that I would like to give is that looking at the availability of jobs in the healthcare sector or maybe, AI or cybersecurity, whatever it is, with lots and lots of certifications available or the courses available, what we are introducing in the technology colleges or the arts and science colleges, I think people should get trained for taking up government jobs very seriously. That is how we are going to change the community, bring in more awareness. We have more of government jobs in India than the MNC jobs. See, why not try out that angle also tomorrow? Prepare our students very seriously for that. Lots and lots of recruitment in insurance, banking sector or anywhere else. I think we are going to be on the top of the world. That's what I would say. Our children are going to become very, very strong. See, 90% of the jobs require full-time job seekers, not part-time job seekers. So that is where all our diversion will end and we will actually emerge as triumphant winners, because all of us are required. Every college will have their own strengths to recruit or people or train them to get the recruitment done in the government sector as well. So that actually is my dream. So that is what I would say initially. So to start up the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Each word that you spoke is really thought-provoking. As a student, even it is like I thought of myself while you are speaking. So
yeah,
let me go over to Dr. Ananda Kumar. Sir, you have vast experience with overseas universities and international students also. If we see, placement is a phenomena in only India, not in the developed countries or even developing countries. Like student has to go to job fair or student has to go to the particular company and apply himself and present himself. But in India, there is a, I can say, visibility or facility that the company will come to campus and recruit. So how do you analyze this situation? After this pandemic, is India also moving towards job fairs or virtual hiring or online hiring? Or this trend is going to continue further also for the next 10 to 15 years? What is your analysis on this?
Thank you, team for the CV. I just gone through the Dr. C.V. Ram, Raja Kanapati and Ashok and both amenities total. I agree with that. So comparing to that government jobs and the MNC jobs, we are focusing that in India only. So my views are to make the bridge between nation and international sectors. The people will now, I just want to give the example, the people are nowadays rushing. So that means what, how the rice is boiling that much of very fast, cannot digest. So they got the time should be maintained. So if you give the time to boil the rice, that rice is very quality and digest, hygienic food to prepare like that. If you are very fast to boil and then eat like the noodles or something like that. So it's happening. So that people will be nowadays also eagerly want to jump to concentrate the focusing the salary and then they go. They're not make the perfect platform. If you go this platform, you can get the achievement. And even though they doesn't have the mentors also, we should provide the mentor-mentee activity to all the colleges. So they provide, but it's not following the one. But in the foreign, they got mentor-mentee very, very important. So here they mentioned key discussion, they got the C, point number C, identify the role education institution in preparing the students for the ever-changing the job market. This is very, very important point they're focusing on the forum. I was in 10 years Malaysia, so working in Iran University, Segi University, Automotive College, these are all. And after 10 years, 2 years, I moved to Oman, and Oman after Ethiopia. So throughout 15 years, I have to overseas and 15 countries I presented my conference papers or kind of thing. I have to observe what they're going to do is, first of all, they're focusing the job placement at the beginning, it seems. That means what people, if you teach the people, for example, I'm teaching Singaporean students. When I was in Malaysia, they asked me, I'm just teaching the basics for the fluid mechanics. They said, why you are teaching teacher for this kind of thing? I said, so this is very important thing. Without basics, how you are going to do? I don't want. Please go for application oriented. That means application oriented thing he learns, and he's going to jump the job, and he has fear. That's the concept over there. That is what people are looking for. Indian people, they have the basics. That's what my IT jobs are more and more created. Why? Because they have learned from the basics. But those international people, they know the application oriented, just apply over there and get the results and finish it. So these are all scenarios going on. In this case, the student ever change the job market, how it could be the fourth year, you can make it internship programs. Internship programs, it makes to develop the knowledge for the student. So that is, we tie up with the genuine companies. For example, recently, 2 months back, I received very late regarding placement. Keep on they call, we have a lot of jobs, so we need to placement. And then I hear, even Malaysia also didn't get this kind of work. So what is the reason for this? And just wait the one, and just wait for that. Okay, then I check the one. One, it got like mediators. They're going to spoil the student's career. They try in some platform and they're going to send this. It will take some time. But this is not right way. So what we have to call MNC companies, whatever the undertaking companies. This is especially for the late overall. So this is a very important thing here we have to be focusing on. The first one is just a minute. Just a minute. So sorry to say this, or some interruption from my side. So, doctors, in this scenario, the third point, even students, you were talking about university students, no need to focus on it. Even that reputed colleges like Dr. G. Ramaraj, KSR, this is an old college, a very famous college, even Dr. Ashok also. Those colleges, the people will become genuine people. But coming to the middle level colleges, like different, like affiliated colleges, they have to go and approach them, and they call that campus interviews. In this scenario, this mismatch is happening. So this mismatch we have to avoid. Even one consultant, like College Dunia, they have to take over that initiative. This company is genuine or not. They have to give percentage. 60% genuinity is there, this company. Then the people will be very much interested. Okay, College is giving a good response, and even some Dr. Ashok giving a good response. This is genuinity. So Dr. K. Shanti is giving a good response. So this is genuinity. Like people, the message will pass the one. They're going to join those companies, and we're going to avoid that is job market. We're going to encourage the job market. That vacancies we're going to fill one by one. And while going to send the people to the jobs, we have to instruct them at least minimum 6 months to 1 year. We have to train very well. So automatically, what the people will do, they join, it's a 20,000, and immediately they jump to 30,000. It's not matched the same platform. That's very bad here. But there in foreign, not like that. If they once committed there, they're going to learn, keep on increasing, and get the salaries very high, more and more. So here I want to mention online courses for skill development for the students. Government also providing some skill development program, but the people, it's not reaching the students. It's only reaching like good colleges actually, but coming to the lower level colleges and middle level colleges, students not approaching that much. So students are facing this kind of thing. In between, the COVID-19 is happening. So that is also one of the situations. So if you want to change this scenario, first of all, the beginning levels, the HNS department, Dr. K. Shanti, the HNS department, is going to focus on the communication skills is very important. Most of the people is very clever and good, but the communication skills is they're lagging. Because of that, students cannot be able to catch up that jobs. That is only the reason. Then he's going to be changed with that, with all kind of things. And now online modes. So online modes, recently I saw one cartoon. The thing is, he finished his program online mode, And what happened, he's going to do some trade job. The trade job is going to do some painting. While painting, he has to take the precaution while not buckling with the belt. He is going to put that what is that? The kind of wire or thread something is put in the neck. That is what he's getting the information, but not in the proper way. So in the wire. So that is what this kind of platform is not suitable. So we have to go direct face-to-face classes. That already told Dr. Face-to-face class is very important, and very important thing is communications. Communications is more and important. And while coming to a transfer that Oman is the country is developed, but local people are lagging of communication. And Ethiopia very lagging. It's a German supported company. So these kind of people, Indian people are looking. So once they have to say, we have to initiate the student, please at least minimum 6 to 1 year. Minimum 1 year you have to stay. Because you're facing a problem, so you continue the job and learn and get the thing, get the experience, and then you take the decision, whatever is the right decision. So that's I want to give the students direction. And meanwhile also, that is the one. So the company's genuinity, you have to find out coming to some consultant, whatever. So you have to avoid those kind of things and do the genuinity. And training programs. While going to introduce a training program, the training is suitable utilization for the student. How much utilization you have to get the feedback from that. So these are all things you can develop more scenario in the industries of skill development. So that was just my idea is sharing with you. So yes, I agree with all the eminent speakers, Raju Ganapathy and Dr. Ashok and Dr. Shanti. They're giving a good the direction. In the direction, we have to just add the companies that genuinely are not. That companies will directly give the offer letters to the people to joining or not. And if join, they give the training or not. If they training, those people all that. And those training we have to implement at our institute, and we have to make people to train them properly and send the product out, and definitely we can get a good So that's what I want to just share with you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful insight, sir. And there is one question from audience to Dr. C.D. Rajaganapathy, sir. Jishan Hashmi is asking that setting up incubation centers will help in creating more opportunities in the institutions. And what are your comments on this particular question?
Yeah, definitely will create a job opportunity. But before going into this incubation centers are innovative cells and everything. So the student should be well trained and well knowledgeable for this. Now, the emotional intelligence is the main thing which we are facing a lot of problems. So my personal I will make it as a six different points that they have to think before they can act. And I asked them to find some adult mentor for the guidance. And they should not be the followers for anybody. And I request everybody to be humble until to learn some new good things. And they have to establish a set of values for their own. And they have to maintain their emotional stability. That's all. And main thing is maybe our forefathers or our grandfathers will tell always that youth are not useless. But in my point of view, youth are not useless, they are useless. That's all. Thanks, ma'am.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Let me go to Dr. Ashok. Sir, from past 2 years, the whole world of students is completely in the online, maybe in the Zoom or maybe in the Google Meet or maybe in some other online platform. So do you think the learning outcomes as well as the training outcomes and at the same time the soft skills which has to be developed in a student, if he is present in the campus, are lacking? Maybe due to the intent of the student is not proper, maybe the discipline is not sufficient from the student side also. And if it is yes, and what extra should be done from the institutional side as well as from the student side to bridge this gap? Because when a student enters into into an institution or into a firm or into any company, the company might not be so compassionate about that student, so that if he makes some 2 to 3 mistakes, yes, they might bear him, but not more than that. But college seems to be the most compassionate place that a student can go. So how to bridge this gap, especially in the online world?
Yeah. Earlier years, the trend is any company will visit the college and at the same time they will recruit a candidates by attending their own campuses. But the trend has completely changed in the academic year 2021. For example, in my college alone, 1,005 students have been placed in various companies in the academic year 2021. Out of 1,005 candidates, 700 plus candidates are placed virtually only. That means they have written their examination online and they are attended their next rounds of the interview, that is the technical skill group discussion, and at the same time the final HR round and the online mode only. So during the COVID period, almost it has become online, and the students are habituated to learn those things, and even for the companies also it is very easy to recruit n number of candidates in the online mode instead of coming to that particular campus, and they are in a position to recruit huge number of candidates and online only every day. That means they are saving their time instead of attending to the companies, that is whether it may be a travel time or in the college wise. Definitely the online education is good in this particular pandemic period. Even curriculum also, we have completed more than 50% of the curriculum in the online mode only in the last academic year. But because of the present scenario, again we have started our classes in the academic year 21 and 22.
రాలేదు పోయినసారి అంతా వచ్చినట్టున్నారు, రాలేదు, అదొకటి అన్నారు. ప్రశ్నలు నేను తీసుకున్నాను, శ్రీనివాస్ అని తీసుకుని అది వచ్చారు. అది వేరే ప్రశ్నలన్నీ ఎందుకు చీఫ్ స్టూడెంట్గా పెట్టినారు, అసిస్టెంట్ చీఫ్ స్టూడెంట్గా పెట్టినారు.
I think somebody's mic was accidentally switched on.
ప్రిన్సిపల్గా ఉండాలి, చెప్పలేదు, అడగ అయిపోయింది. అది ఇప్పుడు అయిపోయిందని మళ్ళీ ప్రతిసారి మేడం అదే అనిపించింది. నేను వర్క్ చేస్తే
Hello.
Yes, that's it,
Ma'am,
sir.
I think your mic is switched on. Okay, sir. So I think there is one more question here in line with what Ashalata ma'am has spoke some minutes back. The question is saying that what is the role of mental health in a student who is looking for a job, in that matter, in the whole of his career? If he is looking for a job, the job is not only his work or he's going to get wage from it, it is his identity. So how a student can manage his studies, or how a student can manage the pressure, peer pressure, or the pressure from the parents, and get a good job at the same time and sustain in that particular competitive world? And the follow-up question that I want to add to that is, do you think there is a need to introduce a new stream of pandemic management studies in each and every discipline that we already have, because pandemic is a new normal now? What do you think of these two questions, ma'am?
Actually, what exactly I would like to add here is that there is nothing much to actually blow. As Sir rightly said, we have been doing all the activities virtually, and then we have been, addressing the student requirements or whatever it is online. Maybe they won't have the experience of having offline classes or meeting their friends or teachers. But sometimes, even it is comfortable when the situation is not very good outside, to be safe at home and then study or do work. So that was a new normal, as you said, and there was a different kind of access from the company. So because levels of understanding from across the world also, there was a new kind of thought process with the companies. They returned back, they reinvented their own, learning mechanisms or survival mechanisms, and they started rescaling actually. Now we see huge surge. And in 2021, as sirs, they were telling, from the engineering college point of view or from the arts and science college point of view, different technology institutions which were catering, there is a huge upsurge. The tide has turned over to a huge raise in the job market. So there is no dearth in the job market, and the students also getting good employment. Only there was a problem with the examinations where the evaluation patterns were not taken by the companies very seriously, because there was not turning down of the options also, or turning down of the offers also. But other than that, there was nothing happening even with the online education. Yes, we had a problem, but I think these kind of problems came and went away. There was more of concern because of the death rates or whatever. Mortality is nothing when it comes to, now I don't want to go into the science prospect, but it was not maybe because there was mortality, people started looking at it and they started dealing with it, and then slowly it came under kind of a control now, and we are able to deal with it. I think students also should get used to the same kind of thought process, and they should be made strong. That is what I usually say. For example, we have NPTEL, or we have collaborative agencies or collaborative MOUs. Communication and collaboration goes together. And other analysts here who can guide and support the students, I think they can get trained virtually also. It doesn't matter. Maybe be very seriously, talking about this. The certificate classes are being taken online. So we should not focus on taking online. To be, coming to the college and you have to be safe. Sometimes we need to accept, and we should take whatever short span of time we can get back to the college and get the practical experience also and do it. Because now there's a wider talent scan. Because there's so many jobs, that talent search and talent scan also gets wider. And students also should get the acceptance to do the remote working. So companies have already accepted it, they have opened, but students also should have the acceptance for doing remote work. And definitely looking for the mental health. The more the students better it is mentally. So normally as we have initially said, we second PhD in the area of management. I would like to share that most of the cases of mental health doesn't mean that the student is compared to that, and the percentage of that is very low. Most of the times it's depression and anxiety is because their mental attitude, or maybe why we are not supporting them. But once student is confident, automatically comes and he is ready. So that emotional intelligence or maybe a problem solving kind of activity, or a strategic thinking or innovation intelligence, that all the management roles that we can take, transform the activities and campus. We need to prepare both communication softwares and literacy. Softwares are more than 30% are part of any recruiter's agenda. So they look at all these activities when they're coming for the recruitment. So when we are making the student placement ready, and when the reskilling is happening in the sector, in the job sector, I think most of it will have more of the opportunities than what we are thinking about it. They're going to come up, especially lecturers, mentoring and counseling. All our colleges,
sorry to cut you, ma'am.
Wonderful job, giving them a lot of support. I think that is going to continue. If that is going to continue, I think this is going to go on and be more.
Ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. We are experiencing. No, ma'am. There is a bit of break in your voice. We are not able to understand what you are saying. So I think there is internet connectivity issue from your side. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to ask you the next question.
Sir, please
So
go
the
ahead.
next question is that majority of the students who are residing in the rural areas, they might not have a proper internet connection. They might not have a tab or mobile phone, or for that matter, they might not even know what is tab or what is mobile phone and what is internet. So, do you think this kind of digital divide is playing a crucial role in those people who are residing in rural areas? They might not be able to mobilize these people to corporate world. Maybe they are stuck in somewhere else in the middle, and they might not be able to come out of that virtual loop, and they might not be able to study further, and they might not attend the interviews in the online. Maybe the situation is that if the complete process or if the complete procedure is in the offline, maybe he could have traveled via maybe through bus or through auto or through some kind of communication medium. He might have traveled and he might have attended that particular interview. But being in complete digital world where digital divide in India is huge, if I have to say this, of course it is unfortunate. How do you analyze this situation, whether India is ready to completely move towards online kind of virtual hiring or online education or online platforms to be used more widely?
Is the question to me, sir?
Yes, sir. It is to you.
Okay. So I will not agree with you 100% because way back to 2012, if I'm correct, UGC has proposed a thing like that is there was a proposal in UGC asking for a blended mode of teaching, 60-40%, where 60% is offline and 20% is online. So they themselves have given an option of 40% of online, not complete 100% online education. So this facility is asked to adapt in all the affiliated colleges because we will have to train our students to face this era of globalization. We cannot be in the traditional mode any longer. So it doesn't mean that we have to completely transform ourselves into the digital mode of giving our teaching learning process. It is not correct. As you said, as you have rightly mentioned, in many of the rural areas and suburban areas, it's just now we have witnessed there was an internet connectivity with Ashalata madam. We were unable to hear what she was trying to convey with us. So this problem persists in all the areas where the internet connectivity is a problem. So we'll have to definitely think and rethink about different innovative ways of making those children who reside in rural and suburban areas to live up to the expectations of the multinational companies or for the demand that is there on digitalized world. We have to take care that they are not completely denied of the globalization and the facility to give their abilities in this digitalized world. So we have to make them familiar, but we should not confine only to that mode of instruction, because this definitely gives an injustice for all those students who have that inability or that facility is not completely given to them. Without giving facilities, we cannot demand that from the students. Offline is sir, one thing, nothing can replace a blackboard and a chalk. Nothing can replace. The other things are only the helping tools. Nothing can replace a teacher with a blackboard and a chalk. So this is what I feel. So we have to go for blended mode of teaching learning process, but not with 100% digitalized mode. That's what I feel, sir.
Yes, ma'am, you're 100% right in your view, as well as you have conveyed the real. Let me go over to Dr. Eriki Anandakumar, sir. Sir, the question is to you that, let's say a student is studying.
It's not audible.
Is it audible?
Yes,
okay.
It is audible.
Sir, the question to Dr. Anandakumar, sir. Let's say a student is studying BTech course in India, maybe let's say in Andhra Pradesh. He is not able to come to college and he is not able to receive proper training in the offline mode of education, and he is trying to go for some kind of online education. And nowadays there is explosion of digital technology. Also MOOCs are coming up, some of the courses like Rajaganapati sir has mentioned Internshala. There are some other course providing platforms like Udemy, Coursera, etc. How much do they help in shaping the person's soft skill level, the technical level, as well as the overall presentation level of student, how much these platforms or how much these kind of short courses could help a student to completely transform himself from a student to a corporate ready employee?
Different now you're telling about AP, not only AP throughout India also, the students are different ideology people. Some people, for example, we see Ekalavya. So without Guru, he has to learn many things. That's also one of the example, for sure. But Dr. Shanti told me that I agree with her also. But nowadays, the people are not that much of, or is that a contribution, that much of not interested. So that, so we need, this is, I'm going to expect 60% to 70% I agree. So through online can fulfill everything. In fact, remaining 30 to 40%. So while coming to the lab exchange, how you are going to do the experimentation, these are all things. When you see that YouTube's whatever that, but the hands-on experience not that is not suitable for both. So if it is online platform, you can learn teaching for the theoretical part only. But while coming to the part practical oriented is how you are going to teach. That's it. The dedication also very important for the student. If the dedication is very important, student, then you have to go with the one. But now coming to the lab experimentation for engineering, especially BTech students, nowadays I'm telling you. So before 1999, 2000, my batch, so they getting first class very difficult. So the internal marks also very difficult to get it. But nowadays everyone got 90%, 99%, 98%. So how could the engineering they got 98%, but some subjects they give that 100 out of 100. This is ridiculous. So how this 100 out of 100 will give me? It's a more than Guru. So what you're teaching, so that means what is equal to you, is balanced to you. So if I ask both questions, as a Guru you can answer, but as a student you cannot answer. Then how you can give that 100 out of 100? It's not. I don't agree with this. But I can agree. Dr. K. Shanti man, he said 60 to something as per the UGC or AHCP something they deliver. 60 to 70 okay, but not 100%. This is not work out. So the people will go out also. They said something. The pronouns also, for example, blackboard and chalk. The pronunciation of the teacher, that lecturer, professor, they should listen in the ear. How the vibrations will come. So like that, so they can pronounce like that. So some spellings, the engineering especially, we cannot replace it. 100% is online platform can finish. You see, compared to this 100%, why they coming to the college? Just go for distance learning and finish up what? Even AMI is after BTech, they go diploma, they go to AMI, join the people. If the AMI people come and teach, the theoretical only can teach. But while coming to the practical lab, they can speak. And most of the lectures I saw, the people, my credential is I started from after 10th SSC, ITI, diploma, BTech, MTech, MBA, PhD in Malaysia, PhD in India. So then I'm PhD in Malaysia automobile engineering, PhD in India and from mechanical engineering. So in the scenario, I saw many people come to AMI while explanation is very good, theoretical, but coming to the practical they cannot. So that is what they study in online mode only. But the people, whatever the balance in AMI, no, I cannot, I couldn't. So I have to suggest to students, if you go for 60 to 70% online mode, okay, but coming to the 30%, you should go at least practical oriented, you should have the more perfect and hands-on. Then only you could able to 100% you can perfect. That's my ideas and views to share with students. Thank you.
Yes, so you have given really wonderful insights about the MOOCs and what the new phenomena that we are seeing, which are actually bursting all over the world. And so I think we have exceeded our time by 20 minutes. Sorry for that. And we have really an intensive discussion with you people. Your knowledge is like out of universe, and most of the audience here also might be enjoying your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, everything. So we see a kind of new ideas, fresh air has been all over this webinar, and I think most of these attendees also have gained 1 or 2 cents from your discussion. And this is really wonderful discussion. Really, I had last 1.5 hour was one of the best time that I spent in the recent time. And even I had learnt a lot from you people. You have given really nice ideas, nice thoughts, so that I could go to my friends and I could explain these things, saying maybe as my own ideas. Sorry for that.
No problem.
So thank you for that.
I would like to add one quote from Einstein, sir.
Please.
Education is not learning the facts, but training of the mind to think. So, as educators, we'd like to impart the knowledge, as Raj Ganpati sir first said, that knowledge is very important. As an educator, we'll have to train the students, their minds to think. That will give a better society for tomorrow, because we are blessed with 40% of the population is youth. So we'll have to definitely work hard on this particular aspect, so that we can build a very a perfect India, which can compete with other countries in the world.
Definitely, ma'am. Like you people, you are the people who are continuously working to build new India, new youngsters, new people who are in turn coming out and building wonderful factories, wonderful firms, wonderful offices, wonderful startups.
What Dr. K. Shanti says is I agree. Because when I stepped in the Malaysia, the automotive college, they are going to buy the branded cars, Mercedes-Benz, like branded cars. They dismantle the car and they can make them assemble in front of students, but not like the old car, whatever that shit car, we can bring it and then do. But they're not like that. They have to teach that 70% practical, 30% teaching. That means what? They're going to train the technicians. They're not trained with that academics or something like the one in office. They want to train the technician people. So the technician people, we have to be updated things, whatever we can import, and we can show, and then they state them, we can ask them to train very well. These kind of things work out nowadays. That's my opinion. Yes, Dr. K. Shanti, what you agree with me or not? I'm not sure whether.
I definitely agree with you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, mostly it's happening. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the attendees who have shown patience and who have attended the whole session and gained some insights from this. Thank you, and I promise we will come back with a new webinar with new guests and new ideas, new thoughts, maybe in the sometime. I personally thank each and every guest who is present here, who allotted some time for this webinar and shared your insight. I thank you once again.
With pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
College Dunia, the
Thank
whole
you.
College Dunia, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for inviting us.
No problem.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.